Hey, this is Nick from Man from Soul, and today I'm going to be doing a basic glitch sound design tutorial. A few days ago I put out a sample pack called Cybernetic Breakdown on Reddit, and a lot of people really liked it, and asked me to do a tutorial. And so I'm going to go over some basic techniques on doing glitch sound design, kind of like the ones in that pack. Uh, of course, it should be noted that there's a ton of different techniques, even many that I don't even know. Uh, and so this is just to be taken as a really basic kind of look into the paradigm and really some common techniques. After showing you the sound design, I'll talk a little bit about just kind of the mindset and kind of what differentiates glitch sound design from other schools of sound design in electronic music. So let's just get right into it, shall we? So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do some granular synthesis. This tutorial is gonna cover mostly using granular synthesis and a few other techniques, some mostly time manipulation stuff. Um, so let's get to it. When you are doing glitch sound design, the idea is to basically manipulate a sound iteratively until you get to the point where you can take chunks of it to use for something else, usually a song of some sort. And so to show that we can do cool glitch sound design with the most like mundane sounds, I'm gonna take maybe mundane isn't the right word, but I'm gonna take the amen break. We've all heard it before. If we're into electronic music, it's pretty much everywhere. And I'm gonna turn it into some crazy wacky glitch crap. So the granulizer or the granular engine I'm going to be using is the Fruity Granulizer. Obviously, this is exclusive to FL Studio, but it's not a super crazy out there granular synth. It's not too different from stuff that you can find in other DAWs. So hopefully, this and any other tool I show you in here can be applied to your particular DAW if you're not using FL Studio. The cool thing is that I'm not necessarily just trying to show you exactly how to use these tools, but also just the techniques in general. And so, if it works differently for what you have, I encourage you to play and experiment with what you have and get results that are hopefully even better than what I'm going to show you, because that's what really glitch is all about: is happy accidents and doing things wrong and aestheticizing failure, I guess you could say. So let's dump our amen break into the granular engine. The first thing we want to do is we want to turn on the loop, because if we run out of grains, the sound stops, and that we don't want the sound to stop. So let me talk a little bit about the Fruity Granulizer and about what differentiates it from other engines, because this is important. This is both what I like best about Fruity Granulizer and its biggest limitation is that it like all granular engines, it slices the sound into grains, but it plays the grains sequentially. It plays them. If you have grains 1 through 100, it'll play 1, then 2, then 3, and so forth until it gets to grain 100, and then if you have loop enabled, to go back to 1. It'll always play in that order, or in reverse if you turn the wave spacing knob enough the other way. But it'll always be sequential. You don't get to like go 1 2 3 83 82 81 and then like 61 67 60. You don't get that kind of like hopping around that you would in, say, like the Mangle, which you can absolutely do that in. And so that I find personally that I like this style of grain sequencing better for the glitch stuff I do, but you can 100% get just as good results in the Mangle and other granular engines that are like that. I think Ableton's default granular synth is more like this, but I could be wrong about that. I don't use Ableton, as cool as Ableton looks. So let's get to it. Let's put some MIDI into here. So C5 is the root note. We'll just do 4 bars to keep it simple. Yeah, and so then if we play through the sound here in the playlist, it doesn't sound any different because everything's at default position here. So let's make an automation clip for each one of these. All right, so the two most important parameters to modify are the grain spacing and the wave spacing. Uh, Basically, wave spacing is the number of grains that it generates, and it also controls whether it plays them forward or backwards. And that doesn't mean the grain itself forward or backward, but whether it goes through, forward or backward in the order of grains. And then grain spacing is, of course, the spacing between them. If you turn the knob enough to the right, or maybe it's the left, crap, whatever. If you turn it too much one way, there's like empty space between the grains. If you turn it too much the other way, they overlap and play at the same time. And so both are cool effects. These two are the more important ones. But then the attack time and hold time do have an effect on the sound, but in my opinion, not nearly as important of an effect as these two, because these are really controlling all the time relevant stuff. The first thing I do is just set a bunch of random points everywhere. Let's make that, yeah, that's kind of, all right, just a couple of random points. And so the thing is, I don't really know how this is going to sound just by looking at it. I'm not a genius. I can't calculate, all this DSP in my mind. That'd be crazy if I could. I'd be rich. So let's just put some random points everywhere, and we'll see how it sounds, and then we'll just kind of tweak the points around until it sounds like a good starting glitch sound. Now that being said, what is going to first come out of here will sound glitched out, of course. We're like granulating the crap out of this amen break, but it's not going to be like anywhere close to the level of stuff you might see in that sample pack, for example. So let's see how it sounds. Nifty. One thing that is a little annoying about this granular synth. Oops, I keep doing that. Synth in particular is that the output's a little quiet. So I like to boost it a little. You can do that with just a regular like gain boost. I like to put a wave shaper on it, then give it a little bit of a saturation curve. This boosts the volume and gives it a little bit more content. It saturates it. We know what that is, and if you don't know what that is okay. But go look it up. And so I will say that I plan on covering distortion and its application in various glitch contexts in a later video. So that being said, much louder, a little spicier too. So the next step is to take this and to do something else with it. You can, and so we have to bounce it out as audio. You can consolidate the track using this tool and just like bounce it here. Personally, I like to just record it into Edison. Maybe the first way is a little easier, but this way things don't get as cluttered on here. It's really a matter of preference. I'm not going to judge anyone for doing it one way or another. We want it to be on play and forever because we want it to start recording when we hit play. And if we set this to 30 seconds, it's fine because we're only doing 4 bars, but I just have it to forever as default. So okay, trim off this repeating part, normalize it. All right, let's dump it here into the playlist. So, we don't even really need to do that. Let's stick it in another granular engine. We can even put it in the same one if we want. That's also an option. So let's take it and just put it right back in. Let's move these points around. Let's get some funky going. And this is just so we don't get too much of the same kind of thing on top of itself. All right, that's good enough. All right, let's see how this sounds. All right, see, we're starting to get somewhere. That's you can still hear the amen break, like you can still hear the the fact that it came from the amen break, but it's not it's not super apparent. One cool thing to do is so I mean we just did the C5, which is just the root note, so it's not changing the pitch of the original audio at all. I like to put in some slide notes. Let's there we go. Let's just kind of put a couple of these, just pepper them around. It's kind of cool that you can get a bit of a neat effect. The little first hit is keeps playing. It's funny. Anyways, so yeah, let's see how that sounds. Hell yeah, that sounds great if you ask me. Okay, neat. So, what's the next thing we can do? Many things. So, as we did, it resampled it, we could resample that like 4 quadrillion times if we want to back into the granulizer. That's totally an option, and I sometimes will go through like 6 of these or whatever. In the interest of saving time, I'm not going to do that here because screw that. What I will do is show you another plugin I use. So, if you're not familiar with Gross Beat, basically it's a time manipulation plugin. Let me actually put a fresh on then here and just kind of show you on that. Let's put this guy here. Put a Gross Beat on it. And so if we just this is a time graph, and so you can basically go back in time and play stuff from before. So you can see how easy it is to just like get glitchy sounds out of this. In fact, sometimes I feel like I'm kind of cheating by using it, but there is no cheating. There's only doing cool stuff. Anyways, so we can stick one of those on there, but what I actually like to do is be a bit more creative than that. So there's a patcher. Is basically it allows you to chain multiple effects together when done here in the effects window. There's a patcher preset called here it is, pass. What's going on in here is basically that you can set a filter, and everything above the filter is being glitched by Gross Beat, and the Gross Beat in here has a bunch of different default presets than the one that just normally goes in the effects slot, and you can automate through that using this knob here. So since it's a high pass, I just stick it all the way down so the entire sound is going to be manipulated, and then this controls all the which one we're going to. So let's make an automation clip for that. This type of thing I recommend if you're serious about really making everything your own. I would recommend just making your own version of this with your own custom one of these. It's going to take a crap load of time, but once you have it, you have it. If you don't have Gross Beat, which if you have FL Studio, you have Gross Beat. But if you don't have FL Studio and you also don't have Gross Beat, which is probably a pretty good amount of people, there's other plugins that can do pretty similar stuff. I think Ableton might have a native one, but I'm not really sure. Glitch Machines has Hysteresis, which can do stuff like that. I think there's if you look it up, there's a ton that do. If you look up Gross Beat alternative, you'll find something. There's plenty that do stuff like it. Maybe not identical, but it'll be the same gist. So we have our sound here, and we're gonna just kind of automate through the different Gross Beat slots. So let's see how that sounds. That sounds pretty cool. Let's do it again. Hell yeah. Let's do it. Awesome. Okay, that sounds pretty neat if you ask me. So that's some pretty basic glitch right there. Let's record that, then think of something else to do with it. a lot we can do with it. All right. Let's what do we want to do with this? That's all we can do to it. Oh yeah, let's do some delay stuff. I know I didn't say I was going to cover that, but you know, let's just do it. It's like, why not, right? We're all adults here. We can do stuff that we want to do when we want to do it. Just kidding, not really. Okay, so we only want to be doing that. So let's do. Let's see. Let's put a vocoder first. Let's turn that all the way down. That was just the modulator pass through. Right now I have it modulating itself. And so this is kind of just how it sounds raw without really changing anything else. So it sounds a little bit more like cyber chippy, little, you know, kind of like that. You can stick it on there just like that. I actually, a lot of times I stick it on there with just having a modulated self, like straight up raw like that. I might automate this guy around a little, but yeah, that's simple. But let's get a little bit more kind of inventive here. Why do I always pick the wrong filter category? Okay, so Citrus is the kind of native FM synth in FL Studio. There's a bajillion FM synths out there. Operator is just as powerful as this. Serum is really cool. I like Serum. I'm just not going to use it here because I know it's not as accessible because not everyone has it. I guess no, not everyone has this either. Well, whatever. I'll just show you this because it's pretty similar to Operator and other default FM synths. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna basically vocode this guy and then this resample thing together. So let's just dump Citrus into this effects slot. We don't want to send it to the master because we don't want to hear its output. We just want to send it to this guy, but turn the volume all the way down. Let's go back to Vocodex. All right, and so we have the modulator and the carrier. Let's make this the carrier. Let's make what's coming in the carrier and make the source sound the modulator. But we can switch that later if we want. Let's see. Now, of course, when we play this, it's just gonna be a sine wave. Or I can't even hear anything. Oh, you know why? Yeah, I didn't do this. So let's pick like a, I don't know, I like G. G's a cool note. So if we play this, it sounds stupid. I don't like it. But that's because it's a sine wave. It's just basically only a sine wave coming through the, here, if we play it, it's like, I mean, we're basically only hearing the sine wave if you look up here. So instead of doing a boring ass sine wave, let's do just do a saw wave. Actually, no, let's keep it a sine wave. I'll tell you what we're gonna do. We're actually gonna, here, let's route this through the filter first. And so, this was just pitching it down, by the way. So we're gonna route it through the filter, but I'm gonna set this up so that, there's a master XY grid. I'm gonna set it so that when we modulate the X knob, it controls the amount that it's being FM'd, FM modulated by anything else that's anything else that's set to modulate it. So we're gonna set operator to, let's put it, so this operator was at 0.5 ratio, so let's set it to 1, which means it's gonna be 1 octave higher because it's twice the frequency as this first one. So then let's just set that to 100% so that we can control it from 0 to 100%. So let's go back and to the main, automate this. Doopy 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 doopy. Still pretty boring, huh? Oh, you know why I didn't open the filter? Yeah, that still really sucks. That's really boring. So let's add some harmonic content to the modulator, or to the modulating operator. Just kind of throw some random harmonics in here. Let's throw like a let's just throw, yeah, some of that crap. As you can see, this is a very precise science. All right, let's give this guy a little bit of oomph too. Let's go to a nice second order. Second orders are fun. All right, just throw the phase around on some of these. Hell yeah. Okay. Getting better. It still sounds really, it doesn't sound nearly as cool as it did without the vocoding, but so let's mess with this a little more, huh? So let's, the filter, right now it's just, it's on a variable state, so, and it's effectively a low pass. So let's change that to like a phaser. Phasers are fun. And so let's go like, I don't know, let's get some wacky phasing going on here, which means turning up the resonance, which, it basically affects like the depth of the phase, or the phasing. These different alternate filter forms affect the number of, I guess like peaks you could call them. So let's automate this bad boy. Better. Let's just pitch this up a little, see what happens. No, I don't like that. Let's put that back. Detune this one. Oh yeah, that's cool. What did I even originally say we were doing? Oh yeah, delay. That's what. That's right. I totally forgot. So before I go any further, let me just say that at each step of iteration that you do, you're gonna get like some kind of cool sounds. You can always like stop, and what I do is, so like let's say, oh crud. Let me just disable this vocoder. So like for example, this little sound right here. I like that. That was cool. That sounded neat. So you go into Edison, and you record it, and then you save it, and then I have tons of, one of these that I've saved over time. These categories are hardly even relevant anymore. Yeah, so we'll just name it Buzzy Boy. I don't know, it's the first thing that came to my head. Okay, and so let's turn the vocoder back on. Put this back over with this. So if it's not like you're losing this, like that's kind of the point of rendering everything out to audio and dumping it somewhere first, is so that you can always go back and like take a slice out before you like screw up your sound too much. Because like right now, this vocoding stuff may not turn out as cool as I thought it was going to. So, yeah. So at least we still have this. We can work without it, but this could go somewhere cool. So where are we? All right, not bad. So let's mess with this a little. You know what we're gonna do? Let's put. I know what we're gonna do. Because this sounds just a little flat. We're gonna edit the. We're gonna up the pitch up and down for our bass one. We're just gonna actually, yeah. So let's just do that. Why not? Screw it. So modulator Y. Get some kind of pitch craziness. In fact, here. So one cool thing to do is there it is. A lot of cool things about glitch are when you, because if you have pitch ramping up and down, like that can sound cool, but you don't get that same kind of like, cause if you have it stepped going up and down, you get that kind of like sudden transition to something else. It can sound a little bit more glitchy, I guess. So let's just do a bit of that, like just kind of throwing that pitch around. We can easily do basically the same thing in the piano roll. It's all up to you. There's a million ways to do all this stuff, and there's no right way or wrong way, really. I guess you could say they're all the wrong way, but that's what I like about it. So, let's set up the this modulating operator to also just get screwed around when we do this kind of pitch stuff. Yeah. Sounds really good. It's a little hissy though. Here, what if we switch this? I like that. It's not bad. Um, let's throw in a little bit of distortion just for good mix. Just kind of not the cleanest distortion, just. All right, not bad. We don't want to script the sound too much here. So let's oh yeah, delay. That's what I said we were gonna do. So you can use there's a bajillion different types of delays. There's the Valhalla Frequency Echo. This one's cool because it's a pitch shifting delay. This is free, and it's a VST, so anyone can use this. This is one I like to use. I'm actually here. I'm going to show you just on like a normal delay first, and then maybe we'll look at that one. Do delay 3. So we get a lot of cool stuff from modulating the time. Let's turn off tempo sync and have this just be on like milliseconds. So let's do that. Before we do that, let's not make it too extreme. Let's turn down some like the wet volume and not give it as much feedback. So then let's oh, I still have that on hold. This one let's put back on a normal type of. But I don't even know what the default is, honestly. I think it's single curve, or is it? Oh, I've been using this program for years. I don't even know what the default one of these is. It's wild. Anyways, let's kind of do some of that. Not bad. Let's prior to the delay, let's stick in like a big fat like notch filter just to kind of clear out some space a little. Kind of nifty, right? So let's record that. Let's do something with. Let's resample this again. All right, sounded really like alien-y. Dump that here. All right, let's see. What do we want to do with this now? Let's just kind of work backwards. Let's see. We've already let's go back and do some more granulation. So let's bring back another fruity granulizer. Turn on loop mode. That's one thing I hate about FL. It if you open up a sample, it like closes whatever else you had, which is frustrating. Anyways, so all right, we have that. Let's yeah, I got it here. Let me actually new pattern. C5. Let's just preemptively throw in some slide notes because we're hardcore like that. Just those aren't even slide notes. Yeah, let's get a lot of high pitched stuff in there. That's a pretty cool, like high pitched, some like alien sounding stuff. Okay, and then now let's do these ones. All right, and again, we'll just kind of pick some random crap here. so we can, hear this properly, just give it another saturator. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of tame those extreme ends of it. That sounds kind of cool, in my opinion. We could, we could resample that. Let me, stick another high pass gross beat. Whoops. Let's use the patcher one. Stick another high pass gross beat on there. Because why not? Let's see, so if you remember, we started with this, and we ended up with this. So, as you can see, there's a million different ways to turn a sound into something completely different, and that this was just the tip of the iceberg. This was just like a couple of different really basic tools that you maybe have not seen in this context before, but now you have. And now you can keep resampling this. You could do that till the end of time. Like I said, the more and more you process it, the less and less it resembles the original sound. Like I can't hear anything from the original amen break in this, and so it's a matter of degrees, and it's all up to you. I like to call glitch sound design a conversation in a way. With, I guess, more traditional forms of electronic music, you very much, I guess it's more precise and controlled. When you turn a knob in your soft synth, or you move a fader up and down, you generally know what to expect, and you can pretty reasonably predict how the sound's going to come out, and you keep doing these things until you've meticulously crafted every element in your mix down to be perfectly sitting with each other and to sound the way you want it to sound in your arrangement. And this isn't a value judgment. That's just kind of the way it is. Like I do plenty of that kind of stuff on my tracks. But to do like glitchy elements, it's less like direct controlled methodology and more conversational, in the sense that you input something to the computer, and you may have an idea how it's going to come out. Like when I was doing all these, I kind of knew what to expect, because I've messed with granulizer a bunch. I know what it sounds like when you move a delay time around. Like I know these things, but I can't tell you exactly how it's going to come out, especially when you're stacking all these effects on top of each other. And so when you finally hear it, it's like someone responding to you in a conversation. Like they're responding to what you told them, what you inputted. They give you their output, and then you hear that and you go, yes, like. You process that in your mind, and then you say, I want to, you give another input based off what they said, and it's like you're talking back and forth. It's really special. I like it a lot. I don't know. It's very, you can get emotional, if that sounds weird. I'm sorry, but it can. And so that's kind of that. And so this is basically, that's just how it goes. There's, like I said earlier, a million different techniques. I didn't touch on a bunch of different things. Like there's a bunch of cool different like distortion types you can do. Like, I mean, like, if you haven't heard what a bit crusher sounds like once you hear one, you'll realize like, holy crap, you're hearing that everywhere in glitch music. You can do some wild stuff with compression. You can do some wild stuff with compression. You can, I use reverb for a lot of really crazy stuff in ways that you wouldn't really like expect reverb to be used. There's if you've seen Harmor before, it's another synth that ImageLine makes. You can resample stuff into it and basically resynthesizes it, and you can do all sorts of ridiculous stuff in there, which I'll cover in another video. There's a lot you can do. The fact that like I'd like to think I know quite a bit about doing glitch sound design, but I know enough to the point to know that there's so much more that I don't know. That kind of excites me. There's like so many different ways that you can take this kind of paradigm, and it's the possibilities are kind of like limitless when you decide like, hey, forget like standard rules of sound design. Like I'm gonna do what I want to do, and to make like just the wackiest, craziest sound possible. And then not only just for the hell of making some kind of extreme sound, it's I want to take these sounds and use them to make glitch music. Uh, that's kind of liberating. So I plan on going over a lot of the other techniques in the future. I mean, I also make like more like neuro style music also, so I'll be covering like bass sound design stuff. That's all the stuff I have planned for the future. And the fact that I'm putting it here in video form is now going to make me feel pressure to actually do it, so I can't put it off. Uh, I'm sure future me will regret saying that, but alas. But yeah, thank you for watching. There's a link to the sample pack that I was talking about at the beginning of the video below. I encourage you to check it out. It's really basic. It'll direct you to a page called glitch.cool. Glitch.cool is a little glitch-oriented collective that I'm a part of. We do glitch music and glitch visuals and other glitch-type stuff. It's a lot of fun. We all collaborate. The project was started because we came out with a sample pack a few months ago, earlier this year, called Glitch with Friends Samples Volume 1. That is way better than the cybernetic breakdown pack that I'm also linking. It has way more stuff, and it's not just from me. It has like stuff from a lot of other people in this little collective, and so there's a lot of really cool samples in there too. So I encourage you to check both of those out. Yeah. Also, while you're there, just check out the other stuff on glitch.cool because we're cool people. It's in the name. But yes, thank you for watching. I hope that you've learned something. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. Probably not on YouTube because I don't check my YouTube stuff that often, but reach out to me on SoundCloud, Facebook. You can email me at manfromsoul@glitch.cool. I will respond. But yeah, thank you for watching.